Hello and welcome to another episode of No Load Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Julian.
What's good? No load time. Obed, good to be back with you, my man. How are you doing?
Good to be back, sir. I just realized that I've been really soft on you, and I haven't come up with another nickname or something different
Oh,
for the
geez.
intro.
You could still always revert back to Dr. Nerd Love or something crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Out
yeah,
there.
yeah. You know
You
what?
threw some
Yeah.
crazy ones
Oh,
out there.
okay,
Threw some
okay.
crazy ones out there.
There's some good Marvel Boy and
Yeah,
all
Marvel
that, yeah.
Boy.
Hey, the Fantastic Man. Oh, look at
Yeah, hey,
that.
that's a good
Hey,
one. That's a
hey,
good
there you
one.
go. Yeah, it goes with the episode and everything. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah, man. How you doing, dude?
Oh, it's always good. It's always good because I never know what you're gonna say.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you say,
expecting
see what you ran
unexpected.
through there.
Now I spoiled it.
Expect
Now I'm gonna probably come up with something next week,
exactly.
like something like the most interesting man in the world, but I guess less politically correct, and and probably just
Right,
throw
right.
it out there,
Throw it out there. Just yes. It's always you never know. You never know.
right?
Oh man. But no, man, I'm doing pretty good. Been keeping busy here. It's since Skeleton Crew kind of ended, content wise, it feels like things are a little bit slow. Obviously, next month we've got from a television standpoint what I'm looking for, my most anticipated Daredevil Born Again. We've got next week. I've locked in my tickets. So next week I will be seeing Captain America: Brave New World.
Okay.
Without going on a tangent about that, we'll get to it when we get to it. But they did release some clips or a clip at least
I saw some
recently
stuff
this
out
last
there.
week.
Yeah, yeah.
Obed, it was cringe. It was cringe. I'm not
Oh
telling people to
no.
go out and watch it. I'm not gonna.
Oh.
It's a fight sequence or something, but it's like trying to be funny and stuff. And I had some people ask me, "Hey, did you see this?" And I was like, "No." And I finally got around to see it, and it's cringe. I was very concerned. Now there could be that some scenes are obvious that they were maybe reshoot stuff or from the original. Like I know this movie's kind of I don't want to say Frankenstein together, but had a lot of production issues.
It's
So
yeah.
maybe some scenes will be out of place in some ways and will make more sense and work better when you watch it. But tough for marketing for at
Yes.
least my opinion. And I think I know a little bit about marketing, as you know. So it's
Yeah.
a tough pull
It
there.
sounds to me like it's having the same problem that the show had. The Falcon Winter Soldier. That show got
So
Frankenstein at the end. Yeah.
yeah, that could be. That's a good analysis. Yeah, that show
Yeah.
did have a lot of issues. I know with that one, COVID also made a huge effect on it too.
Yeah.
This one, I don't know. It seems like development issues or maybe directorial, maybe casting. I've heard all kinds of stories. But I will be the judge of it when I see it. I mean, we talked about at
Yeah.
length when that
Yeah.
trailer came out, and it looked like a great trailer, I would argue. I mean, I was very excited for that first look for Brave New World, and we'll talk about another very small independent Marvel film in a little bit here. But yeah, man, what's up with you? How are things been going for you, man?
Yeah, yeah, same thing. Not much. I've been slowly but surely getting through Castlevania Nocturne season 2 and What If. So I've been getting, grabbing a an episode a day kind of here and there whenever I get a chance. Um and that's basically been it, man. I've been
Yeah,
absorbing a lot of content. I'm trying to expand my horizons. Some just getting some into some more creative content, I want to say. So
sure.
stay tuned for that. It's not nothing too crazy that's going to happen with the channel, at least not now. I may come up with something different one day, and see if it sticks. But uh, trying to, I guess, get my creative juices flowing. So to speak. And
Yeah, if you know,
so,
you know.
yeah, it's working. It's working out. It's different. Like I'm used to just going out like after I finish, hanging out with my kid and whatnot, just watching something on my iPad, and I've been doing other stuff. So, which is good. Like, right, it really helps me. Um, I guess even with my mental health, because like I mentioned back last year, you know, most of my social media is gone. I still keep some of it, but I haven't been too active. It's there. So I've been trying to spend my time doing more creative things, and it's been
Yeah.
working. Like
Nice.
I even compare it back to, man, the beginning of the year, and I do feel much better. So it's refreshing. It's good. It's a good feeling, right? Now I gotta get back on those weights, dude. Cause I left the weights go for Christmas, and I was like,
I understand.
it's
I
tough,
understand.
bro.
I understand.
I
After
gotta
the
go.
holidays, tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. I took my
I
Christmas
understand.
break on the weights too, and now it's like, oh, do I want to do this? And and I don't want to again. I hurt my back over the holidays, so I don't want to like
Yeah.
exacerbate the problem. And I was like, I don't want to go too crazy on this thing and then get hurt again or something. So maybe that's what's keeping me away. But no, Castlevania, real good. What if the other two episodes that I watched after we talked last week were good? Um, I'm about halfway done with no I'm like episode 5 on both right now that I
Yeah.
watched. So yeah, they're both pretty good. I have been, Joe, listening to the audiobook version of Console Wars. So
Oh, nice.
that's something that I've been
Yeah.
doing. That's also again like me trying to like put my mind into some other stuff. I read the book. I watched the documentary movie that's on Paramount. Um, so I was scrolling Spotify. I was like, oh, it's like it's included with premium. Let's go. So yeah, real good. Because the book's a lot more detailed than the documentary is great. Don't get me wrong. It's really really good, right? But the book is a lot more detailed. Like it has like nitty
Yeah.
gritty stuff, and so it's really good. Like going through it again and hearing it. One thing, Joel. If you listen to the audiobook, because I do highly recommend it, be ready because there are some accents. Tony, are you
Oh,
around?
produce
Yeah,
producer of the show. Producer of the
Producer
show.
Tony's around.
Oh
He'll
no.
get a
Oh
kick out of
no.
those.
Oh yes. Oh geez.
But other than that,
Oh
because they
no.
try to they hire like they
Yeah.
um it's not the writer reading his own work. They hired a voice actor, so he does all different. Like he does Nakayama, and it's like, oh no! It's like, okay, I'll deal with that. I'm not offended. I just keep going. I just think that some people may think this is kind of weird, but if you
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're in the if you're in the inner circle,
You know.
you know that that's it's fine. So but it's good, man, because it's like going into like the details and all that, because I read the book a long time ago, so or when it came out, so he's going back to like the details, and it's like, oh man. And the meetings with all of the when right now I am at the last chapter I listened to was the Nintendo CES press conference when Olafson from Sony was on the first row, and then they said, "Hey, we're going in partnership for a CD content with Philips," and I was like, "Oh no, that's a betrayal."
Right.
So
Right. Right.
that's
Right.
the last chapter I listened to. So real good.
Mm.
I that's dude. I just love like video game like history so much, and that, and the documentary is really good too, and the high score on Netflix is really good. I wish high score would come back and they would do more of
That
that,
was
because that was
great.
so
Oh
good.
yeah.
And
So
because
good.
I'm just I love all that stuff, like especially like back in the day, right? Like there's drama now, but it's nothing compared to what it was when the industry, I don't want to say it was in its infancy, but when it was exploding, right? Because even back then with Atari, you can call it infancy, and then it crashed. Nintendo came back, right? They brought the industry back in the U.S. It never went away in Japan, but um, just it was so different. Like it's like it was cutthroat, and it was there's some really really interesting like stories from back then, and I am fascinated by it, and I just love all that stuff. So I'm a sucker for it. Like if they do a movie, man, like an actual like legit like Tom Kalinske movie, like I'll go to a theater and watch it, man. Like they should do that. They should do it.
Yeah,
I thought that
yeah.
there was that's what they were gonna do when they did the documentary. Um, but it ended up being a documentary, which is great, right? It was excellent. But again, it's like, oh man, like watching like the drama, like actually like going through and people yelling and oh man, calling names and oh, it's fascinating, and I am here for it. So yeah, go and see that through. It's a long sit. I'm about maybe like 3 hours in, and I'm still like 14 hours to go. So it's a long listen, but worth it.
Mm,
I love all that stuff. So yeah,
nice, nice.
cool. Yeah, man. I mean, if you don't have anything, sir,
Now I'm ready to
we
go.
can jump in. I contacted you on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
I performed a wellness check in the morning of on Tuesday. And it's like, sir, are you okay after watching the trailer for the Fantastic Four First Steps? Um, I How do you feel about it? I want to hear from you first. What is up, sir?
Yeah, I think that like most people, the trailer or teaser trailer really, which it really was truly a tease,
It was a
like
teaser,
that there
yeah,
was,
yeah,
and then it did what it was supposed to do, and for that reason, I think that it was perfect, right? I think like I don't think there's anything else I could have wanted for them to have shown for a teaser than what they showed. They really did a great job of giving us, the aesthetics of it, the actors in their specific roles, so you get an idea of this is how each of them are going to be presented. Your Johnny, your Susan, your Thing, your Reed, that those kind of things. The just the understand that this is a different world. This is different timelines, kind of like the '60s, but it's also kind of the future, and it's the space race, and really tapping into the launch and made it a launch event, like a rocket launch type style, I think was just really brilliant. There's just in general, I told some people after I saw, I think that just on the teaser alone, this has the chance to be a top five MCU film. I think just based on the teaser alone,
okay,
it has a chance. Will it attain that? That's another conversation. But I genuinely believe that there's something about like all the different parts that they decided to specifically market were all the specific things that I was looking for. I was looking for the family dynamic. They give you that. I'm
right,
looking for a sense of the Marvel classicness to it, which is it has humor, it has adventure, but it has stakes. Like there's clearly all those beats in there. There's heart behind it.
yeah,
I hope that there's a lot of heart because outside of Spider-Man, I think the Fantastic Four is the next characters that have some of the most heart from just a comic book storyline. And there's a lot of we've talked about on the show before. For the timeline of when this was coming out, similar to Spider-Man, there was a lot of parallels to real world events that were going on at that time, and that including some of the actual artists themselves, what they were going through, that they were kind of emoting into these characters. There's a great I think it's called Behind the Mask, I want to say, documentary. It's on Disney Plus. I want to say, I think it's what it's called. I might be in other places too, but it was on Disney Plus. It's like a Marvel-ish style documentary, and talking about these types of things again of just like the heart of these characters and why, for example, like the Thing, which is one of the characters I want to talk about quite a bit here because I think that's the one that really stood out to a lot of people from the marketing appearance wise and just overall character wise. But like that's a character you really shouldn't miss on because that character was supposed to emulate some of the things that some of the actual creators were going through at that time, trying to hide where they were born from and things like that. That the Thing kind of represented, and now it can obviously be used in now a fictional environment now where people can try and it's like a Spider-Man the same way. People can say I'm clearly I don't climb on walls, maybe I'm not a high schooler, but there's some relatability to the heart of the character. I think the
right,
Thing can be the same kind of way as what you when you do it right here. And what the trailer gives you just glimpses of that. You know, him wearing the traditional outfit with his, you know, the trench coat and the hat,
Yeah.
and he's trying you know, like, even though people are fans of him, you're seeing the kids holding the toys and stuff like that, like he's like ashamed of who he
So
used to be. He's looking at
the
that one
Ninja Turtles
clip.
costume, because the Ninja Turtles,
And
that's
yeah,
a homage,
yeah,
that's an homage to the thing, because they wear
yes,
the trench coat and the hat. It's it's an homage
yes,
to that. So yeah, I call it the
yeah,
Ninja
yeah.
Turtles costume. So,
Absolutely. And like all you get is just that one little sequence where you see that he's talking to Reed, and this is before Ben has his transformation. He's like, oh, one of the best looking astronauts, and is joking about it's like, well, obviously he looks nothing like it. Um so let's just talk about like those things are pros. Talk about the thing a little bit more. Obit, I genuinely, my only main complaint about it is his size. I do, when you have that lineup and it stops, and you have the lineup of all four of them standing together,
okay,
it almost looks like Reed is taller than him. Like when you
so
look at it,
I don't
I'm not expecting him to be like the Hulk big. There's some people who
know.
have said he needs to be as
I
big as the Hulk. The
Okay,
recent comics, they've changed that a little bit, but there's a little bit about just like there's something about as I'm gonna get flack for this because I've roasted this movie. The 2015 Fantastic Four, there was something about that they got about the way the thing at least just looked from the standpoint of like his size that was good.
it was
His
naked though.
overall he was, that was horrible. But but like the face and like whatever that they did, like, and just the overall CGI for this is
Right.
better. Like there's no quote about
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But just the overall, like, he stands out.
So here's the thing with, because like back then, especially like me growing up, right, and I used to watch like the
Oh
awful
yeah.
the I was there in the trenches with the watching the like the awful Fantastic Four like late 70s show, and then the one that came out in I want to say late 80s, maybe the one that has the
Mm.
catchy theme song, um and and I didn't see, just going back to your Hulk comparison, because I never saw Ben or the Thing in as the same level as the Hulk. It's like he's a rock guy,
Yeah.
he's a rock man, right? He's a man that's made out of rock, but he's not huge, he's not bulky, like he's not this gigantic thing, and and yeah, to your point, there's been different versions where he's bigger, he's taller, he's smaller, he's a little chunkier, and there's different versions.
Yeah.
I think he looked really good. I think that's probably the best CG that Marvel's done since like Thanos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
It's great.
after that's been hit and miss. Either you get that, or you get Love and Thunder, and and the floating head, and Spidey aside, right? Since Thanos, like, it's probably the best looking that they've done. So you know,
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Like literally for my own, and it's an opinionated thing. I just think that was something that when I see that specific shot, and all four of them are standing next to her, I'm like,
uh,
interesting.
yeah,
But it's like, and it's like I feel like it could be a small change. I had someone else said to me, well, maybe he's gonna evolve and they'll do some kind of thing. I don't know, but regardless, everything else is cool. Yes, could his voice have been a little bit more rocky and grizzled? I'm used to that.
okay,
Clobber, whatever. He made him sound
right,
just like a regular guy.
right.
They could have done things like that. I'm not mad about the voice as much as I am that I'm not mad, but just like creatively, if you're gonna commit to making him look different, make him look a little bit like he stands out compared to everybody else, not just because he's rocks, but like he's a big dude. But it's okay. It's still good. Not that's the most whole thing. Now, as for like one other thing, I did want to take a quick stab at was just the other quick glimpse that we get at John Malkovich as the Red Ghost. Like a lot of people did not know this character was going to be in the show and or in the movie. This is a very like D tier villain like in Marvel. So the fact that they're throwing him into this is really cool because it's like nobody knows who the Red Ghost is unless you're like a hardcore sweaty
That's
super
yeah.
fan. And
I can
yeah,
like just going just thinking back.
yeah,
Yeah, that's like super D tier, man.
super
Like
deep, right? Like that's so like it's cool. I think it's cool because of all the characters. What we know about him is like, and I think it's going to be it's clearly going to be shifted a little bit because of, again, the comics were created to replicate the time period they were in, but we're in, a different time now, so I don't think they're going to do the exact same thing. So for example, like his character's main, structure is that he's like a Cold War, specific USSR, scientist, that he's helping like advance, like at that time, the specific geographical advancements and trying to, you know, outdo the United States and other countries, and specifically like expansion and conquest and whatever, right? And so without getting like political in that kind of way, like that's I think there's why I say that it's interesting and a good choice is because if the whole premise of this is the space is space, and I'm trying to go to space, and I think they're gonna set it up that the Fantastic Four are the first people to ever go to space instead of like first person on the moon.
Oh, okay.
I think it's gonna be set up as like the first humans to go to space. I think that's why they're gonna be so celebrated. It's like they're the first to go. That's why first steps, like almost like Neil Armstrong first steps on the moon. So I could see them kind of
Right.
going that route of making an alternate in that way. But to make, if you're doing that and you're talking about the space race, the Red Ghost would be like someone who'd be trying to stop them or trying to essentially beat them to space first. So I
Right.
can see that being a huge part of the premise there. And then the other part of it is like I don't think they're gonna do this, but like he's like controls an army of apes like that does tests on, and he does the same radioactive test that he sees that like cause the Fantastic Four to get their abilities because of
Cosmic rays or whatever. Yeah.
cosmic rays. Yeah, exactly. Like he tries to emulate the same thing, but he does it like on apes and he's an army of apes. I don't think this is gonna go Planet of the Apes on us, but I'm just throwing it out there in case that does end up coming about. There's like a little cut there. So a lot of people have asked like, who's the Red Ghost? What's going on there? I think that was something that would be just a good little note to throw out. But it was cool to see that you've got a comedian, John Malkovich, stepping into that role. Good actor.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes of it.
What do you think of teasing Galactus so early?
I don't mind it.
Okay.
I'm sure. I think he's going to be similar to, not similar. I think he's going to be in a situation where he's also going to be almost shape shifting in size because he, like in this one, it looks like he can just walk on the earth, kind of thing, like a super giant on the earth.
Yeah.
But in the comics, he's like straight up grabbing the earth like a cheeseburger and just
Yeah,
biting
right,
into it.
right.
So like if you're outside, like, you can't do it. So I think it might be like a ranging type situation, and I'm
Okay.
okay with that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm okay with them teasing him. I mean, I would hope for him to be a little bit in the shadows and not just taken out in this first movie.
Oh, no,
I
no,
hope that that's
I
kind of
doubt
the
it.
route
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah. He's probably gonna ask you to protect the vehicle.
Like if it was up to me, I would have teased Thanos sooner.
Yeah.
But like good for Joss Whedon hiding him as a post-credit scene.
Right.
But like I don't think there's anything wrong with showing as long as you just don't reveal too much.
Okay. I can see that. No, I thought it looked very good. The cinematography looks great. The sets look great. Again, I'm a sucker for set design. I set it back with WandaVision and all that. So, it looks very good, colorful. The costumes are great. Everyone looks their part, and I have no issues, man. Honestly, it's yeah.
Will you go to the theaters for this one based on the teaser, or you're not there yet?
I'll wait for reviews. Let's
See,
it
okay,
there.
so you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair.
But it's
Still game time decision.
but it looks good. Like I'm not saying it's not, it doesn't, because it does look really good. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm more excited for it now that I've actually seen something than I was before, back when we still were in the dark, and there was they were just showing pictures and whatnot. Yeah, man. And the one that I think the one it's exciting that Michael Giacchino's doing the soundtrack, and I'm hoping he comes in hard with incredible vibes, because he did the
that would be
soundtrack for
awesome.
he did the soundtrack for Incredibles. So I'm just hoping that he comes in with those vibes for this movie, because it's like it's incredible, right? It's like Incredibles is the Fantastic Four
I
certain
mean,
extent.
we got to hear a little bit of the main theme at
Right.
least at Comic Con, and it was great.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I
it
mean
was
they
great. It was
teased
great.
it on the
Yeah,
on here. So, yeah,
yeah,
I have no complaints, man. It looks good. So,
yeah.
I you know, is Marvel back? I don't know. It's like, hey, Marvel's back. Oh, Marvel's dead. Oh, Marvel's back. Oh, Marvel's dead. It's like they gotta just let us go from from the ups and downs, right? And I guess we'll figure out when Cap comes out, and then so it's correct me if I'm wrong. Is this year we get Cap, Fantastic Four, and Thunderbolts is later, or is it Thunderbolts first
No,
and then
uh,
Fantastic?
s- Cap Thunderbolts, fantastic.
Okay. All right.
Thunderbolts is in May, and then Fantastic Four is in
In
July. Which
July.
originally Fantastic Four was going to be in November, and they moved that thing way up to July.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Interesting. Cool. Oh, we'll
and
see.
we got, and then Disney Plus wise, I know for sure is Daredevil and Ironheart, and
Okay.
then obviously like
Daredevil's
anime.
March 3rd, right? Or March 4th, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, early March.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
animation, Eyes of Wakanda. So we got What If. I think the zombies is this year too.
Got it. Okay.
I'm not really excited for that. I
Interesting.
don't really care, to be honest.
Did you see unrelated? Oh, okay. Do you see that today? Just so happened to be the day that Rogue Squadron was supposed to come out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I believe it. I mean, it's been a few years,
Yeah.
man.
I,
It's been a few years, so I believe
I
it.
saw it on like a Star Wars fan page. It's like, oh man,
That's sad.
that's it. It is. Yeah. The state of Star Wars is it's sad. I mean, it looks like there's positive movement, right, with the Ahsoka rumors and the Ryan Gosling rumors and all that. It looks like there's they're like don't lose hope completely, but Andor looks good. Skeleton Crew was good. It seems like they're taking a step back with some of the issues that we were getting with Star Wars, but I mean they're still in a rough spot right now, as
Yeah. Yeah.
as a franchise as a whole, because you go like merchandise not moving, other than Lego, right? And like other than Lego, I don't think Star Wars is doing great with like merchandising, and they don't even do Lego, like they just license it. So
Exactly.
um, I just don't think that they're like every time you go to like the stores and you see the same figures and man, it's so disappointing. I don't, man, heartbreaking almost.
It is.
If only I cared a little bit more. Hey, you know what? I do care.
Exactly.
I would, and we've said it here, and I've said it to people outside of Nola time, and I don't understand. Well, we'll have to I guess wait and see. Joel, we got a uh, bunch of like not necessarily gaming news, but gaming updates. I would call it.
Yeah,
Um,
some cool stuff.
yeah, let's start with E3 is back? Question mark.
I know.
So, the ESA is organizing a new event that will substitute E3 called Icon with two eyes. The event is to be held next year, April 27th through the 30th in Vegas, and it's going to be invite only. But they're saying that the big three are going to be there. So they're saying that Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft have, um, I guess, confirmed at least to them that they will be in attendance. And some other companies, like EA, Square Enix, Ubisoft, Warner, Take Two, are going to be there as well. So it seems promising. Cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping it's back. I'm hoping they open it to the public later on. I'm still hoping to go to E3, Joe. I don't know,
Oh,
man.
totally,
I don't
totally.
know about
Yeah.
you, man.
Give us
But
an invite, guys.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we'll cover the event.
We'll go there, man. We'll go
Heck
to
yeah.
Vegas. Why not?
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, ESA, hit us up. noholdtime@gmail.com.
For real.
But yeah, no, honestly. But it's really exciting. I really wanted to setting it in April is I don't know if it's strange, but I think that they're giving the opportunity to, since Jeff Keighley's event took over that space in summer.
Yeah.
I think that they're just going to. That's why the date was moved, and it's not summer any
Yeah.
longer. And they're just doing it in late spring, and then Jeff Keighley can do his thing in the summer game fest or whatever they call it,
Yeah.
and that way everyone's happy. So good, like that's a classy move from them, right? That way they don't you know mess up an event that's already set, and more than likely Jeff Keighley already has bookings for next year for that event. Like who knows, right? So well, we'll see. It seems like it's not necessarily a trade show, but invite only means that it's gonna be for I guess media, and of course the attendees or the companies that are going to be showcasing their products. So yeah, what do you think, man?
Yeah. Good news. I fully believe the only way they could even put or feel confident enough, and this is just on pure blind faith. I have no insight behind this, but I just believe that they would not put this type of announcement of hey, this event is coming and giving you a date, location, all these kinds of things. If they haven't sorted out or really took the time to figure out some of the semantics of things that held them back and obviously caused them to close doors a few years ago.
Right.
And so, like, I love instead of just saying like, "Oh, it's a death sentence, let's just go away." Like, find another way to bring it back and probably learn from some of the things. Hopefully, at least that's the assumption that they've learned from some of the things that maybe went wrong from before. Clearly, there was reasons why these companies pulled out your PlayStations, your Xbox, all Nintendo having their own events and saying we don't need you. Like there's good and bad behind that. So I think some of it caused them to have a little wake up call of like why and how can we incentivize these companies why they all need to be our event. Comic Con went through something similar with this, where like Marvel wasn't there for a bit, and then Warner wasn't there for a bit, and different ones, and then they eventually came back, and some do better than others. But like I think with this, there's no way they would have greenlit this if they didn't have some sort of, whether that's a deposit, a gentleman's like handshake, true
Yeah, a
commitments from
commitment.
these
Yeah.
guys saying we'll be there. Like you are calling upon us, and we're not going to back out this time. There's probably been some restorations, relationships with people there. These are all things that I'm just basically making assumptions on. But I feel very confident about this being back. How it's executed when the time comes, and it's April 2026, and things are happening. Next year we'll find out. But right now, I feel like they're in a good position. It's gonna be fine. I look forward to it.
Yeah, totally. No, I agree. I think calling it Icon is like just going away from the E3 name. It's a good
Completely
move.
different.
Yeah, and
Yep.
just rebrand. Um, that's a good move. So yeah, no, I'm hoping that the event it's successful. I really
It,
do. So
it could be a bigger event than we realize too. Who's to say there won't be teases of next gen consoles at things like this? Like these are
oh
opportunities. Could
yeah,
be
yeah,
that it could have. There could be some money and big things behind this. 2026 could be an interesting. I'm not saying like I don't know. Like we'll see. We'll see.
yeah. No, I
Because
agree.
you have like versus like if you're PlayStation, only your PlayStation guys are going to be at your event. If you're Xbox, your Xbox. The great thing about events like this is it's an industry event, so the whole industry is there. It's a great PR. I'm sure they probably said this. Like you guys want press, they're already going to be here, so it's just going to help that coverage. I'm looking forward to seeing how this comes about. Very excited.
Yeah, no, I am too. So I guess we'll wait and see. But no, for reals, hit us up. We will
For real.
gladly cover the event. There are some. I don't want to say it's an update, but a rumor about the price on the Switch 2. I mentioned that I think it's going to be 400. There's more rumors that kind of confirmed that it's going to be 400. The president of Nintendo is, Shintaro Furukawa is out there saying, yeah, inflation is a thing, but we also don't want to price ourselves out of our sweet spot. So I think Nintendo, Nintendo balled with the Switch. The Switch never got a price cut. Um, this thing's like probably cost them I don't know, 40, $60 to make, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And considering that there's Android devices out there right now, handheld devices that are
yeah.
more powerful than the Switch and sell for $120. Um, you know, they've been balling for a long time. I'm sure that they can probably not make as much money with this device, but to ensure that the general public is able to afford it and not price themselves out of what their usual pricing scheme is. Um, what's the least expensive like Windows device right now? Let me see. Fill
Like a
the dead air, sir.
Like a Windows handheld you're talking about
Yeah,
specifically? I mean, I have to imagine it's probably not going to
the
be.
ROG Ally.
Yeah, and that's still going to be competitive with the price of at least the current Switch. I'd have to imagine.
Um, oh, the
Um,
uh, the iNeo, the iNeo Next Elite goes for 399. And
right.
has similar
So
specs to what the
Switch
Switch
2.
would be. Yeah. So
Yeah. See, like,
yeah.
you and I have talked about this. Like when there was rumors of Switch 2 from a year or so ago, we were saying there was a chance. We were like, we hope this doesn't happen, but there was a chance that this thing could have been five, even $600. Like when we first talked about it, people forget the speculation. This is actually great news when you really think about it.
Yeah.
If predictions, this is not actually news, but I'm just saying, like we're covering it as a topic. If it sticks to only being, yes, you will have an increase. It's not the same 300 that the first Switch launched in 2017, but like if you're looking at in 2025 a new Switch that only went up $100 more with the way inflation and things have gone, and it's really going to be a superior console. It's going to have new tech in it. Like only $100 increase is actually really good. I say only $100 like it's cheap. No, obviously this is money. People are saving for this new console. Little Billy's gonna have to cut more lawns. I get it. I'm not making light of it in that way. I'm just saying for what it could have been, they didn't take advantage. They
Right.
could have taken, and that's I think the message that they want to put out is like we're not trying to burn our fan base. So I think it's great.
Yeah. And considering that the OLED is $50 more than the regular Switch. Then they none of them got a price cut.
Yeah.
Um, my big question would be what's going to be there, because the Switch clearly has reached market saturation. Like sales are
Right.
down, like they're slowing down. Like especially like after the holidays, they've said that sales have significantly slowed down. I went to Target the other day, and there were not many Switch left, which is strange because like a few weeks ago it was full. Like even during like the holidays, it was full of Switches. So, and there were not many left. So makes me think that they're cautiously not restocking too much Switch, or Nintendo maybe saying, um, yeah, we're not gonna send you as much anymore. Like, but I'm wondering what their phase out strategy would be for the old console. Like, are they going to phase out? Are they going to keep the Switch Lite, kind of like what they did with the remember when the Switch came out, um, and the 3DS was still around, and then the phase out plan for the 3DS was making that 2DS XL, and that's the one that they sold for a year, 2 years after the Switch came out, and then they stopped. So I'm
Right,
wondering,
right.
yeah. So I'm wondering if they're going to do like, oh, we're gonna phase out the Switch Lite and the regular Switch, and OLED is gonna take the place of the regular Switch for $300, and then you can get this one for 400. I mean, that would be a plan, but that's quite the upgrade for $100 more, though. I mean, it's a
Exactly.
no brainer. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. What they could potentially do is um like phase out Switch entirely, like the regular Switch entirely, and just do a couple more years of the Switch Lite. But then you get people confused. It's like, hey, Switch Lite, Switch Two, they're not the same thing. Well, and that's the great thing about, and we'll talk about naming conventions here in a little bit. But this is the great thing about just naming it the Switch Two. People know that is not the same Switch. They
Yep.
associate with PS2, PS2, PS3, PS4. Um, and by just not calling it the Super Nintendo Switch, which it would have been great, right? I thought that would have been a great name, but then you start getting confusing the casuals, and I think they're to the point where they don't want to do that, and I think it's smart. So just following that naming convention makes sense. But maybe they can just leave the Switch Lite around for a little bit more, because as like the cheap alternative. Like, hey, you can't plug it into your TV. You can't do really anything other than play in handheld mode. It's $200, and you can play the older Switch games. Um, you know what, and or you can even lower it to like 175. You don't have to go like 150. You just lower it to 175. Do what you need to do with the other one. Yeah. Um, man, I can't wait for that April 2nd thing.
I know.
They
Two
announced
months.
the
2 months.
time. I think it's gonna be like 9 in the morning that day. I'm I'm
Yeah.
I'm th- I'm thinking of asking for the day off so I can stream it. I
Nice.
don't know about you, sir. If you don't have anything to do, we can probably plan it. We
We'll see.
still got a few weeks to go. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you're looking at. I know what you're looking
Yeah.
at.
Yeah. I look right up at it and I'm like, we'll see.
I know what you're looking at. Yeah, I'm gonna try. If you can't make it, I'll stream it.
I
Um,
love it.
but I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Like, there's more rumors about like Game Pass and stuff. It's crazy, man. So we'll see. It's exciting. So it's pretty good. Um, there was a very interesting interview that was done to former PlayStation head Sean Layden. And the interview was done by a channel called Kiwi Talks on YouTube, and it was a very, very good interview. They asked him a few questions, tough questions, and I remember back when Sean Layden was around, and I remember Greg Miller asked him about games as a service, and and he said that he's very cautious about it because like he could say it was like, oh, I like it, give me three of them, but man, they can flop. I remember, man, and that's kind of exactly what happened at PlayStation. But um, I just want to bring out the two interesting points that he brought was um, yeah, the naming convention on the Switch. The PlayStation naming convention, they just stuck with it. They followed some other the electronics heritage that Sony had, where they had the Walkman 2, and they kept going from there, and it was a simple naming convention that everyone, the general public, general consumer could follow. Nintendo's doing the same thing with the Switch 2 because they want to be cautious. They want to have everyone understand that this is a brand new product and not an iteration of the previous one, like what happened with the Wii U, and even like the new 3DS, right? So he brings that up, and then while he was talking about that, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah, I mean, he's like 100% right, and about these naming conventions because how many times have I confused the Xbox Series X with the Xbox One X? Like just us in the podcast
Same.
talking, they get it's not great, right? I understand the 360 because they didn't want to sound lower than the PS3. So calling it the Xbox Two and they have the PS3, then it sounds like the PS3 superior. So I understand. Like that's a really good marketing move that paid off. That clearly paid off, right? The 360 was very very popular. They were head to head. And the 360 was on top for most of the generation. So, but then when you go like PS4, Xbox One, then you're going back, and then you're creating this sort of like naming convention problem. I don't think that that's necessarily a problem for the hardcore audience. I think that the ones that are like either on the fence or they're not like completely um, immersed on what's going on. That's
Yeah.
when the confusion may come. It's like, hey, so which is the new one, the S or the X, or is it the One X or what? What's going on? That's where could come. So that was an interesting conversation that they had, and he also talked about how much like Sega, Microsoft can find success with a multi-platform approach. We talked about this in the past, right? And there's a comparison to be made, but at the same time, we're not like it's not. You cannot really compare the state of Xbox right now with the state of Xbox I'm sorry, Sega back in 2001, 2002 when they started putting games out for Xbox, PS2, and GameCube.
Yeah.
Um, it's a totally different scenario, right? Sega, like but by the end of 2001, they were still losing money, and they were still in a very, very vulnerable position. Microsoft is not. Microsoft's balling, so they don't care. Um, but this could be a way for Microsoft to truly for Xbox to be truly profitable for Microsoft. Like Xbox is the least revenue generating division at Microsoft, and this could be Xbox opportunity to grow and be a top contender. Like Sony, like PlayStation is what makes money for Sony. Xbox doesn't make money for Microsoft, but if it finds that success with putting their games not only on their consoles, I'm not saying that they're going away, right? I think that they're gonna still make Xboxes. Um, I just think it's gonna be. I just don't think that Xbox is gonna be uh, what it is now. I think it's gonna become a Game Pass machine, and
Right.
but then you can buy those games that are on the Game Pass Xbox uh, elsewhere. So yeah, it's a very interesting conversation. You know, like Sega now going back, like Sega now is doing better than ever. It's fine, they're doing great, and they found success with a lot of their franchises. But Forza's coming out soon on PlayStation. I saw like Xbox fanboys. I was like, oh, now PlayStation fanboys are excited for Forza. It's like, yeah, whatever, man. It's like it's you'll get excited if Gran Turismo would come to Xbox. I guarantee. If that would be something. Um, but it's fine. Like, you know, I think that it's a good move from the. There's a clear shift in how Xbox is trying to do business, and and I think that the way things were going for them, um, putting their product on other places, it's probably a smart choice. So, um, like, could you imagine like going back into like maybe the Dreamcast days? If Sega would have had the Dreamcast and they would have not discontinued the Dreamcast and then started putting the Dreamcast games on other consoles just to try and save the Dreamcast, that would have been a crazy scenario. Um, but it is sort of similar to what's going on with Xbox. I think Xbox got to the point where um, like sales dwindled so much on the Xbox end that Microsoft said, so what do we go from here? It's like, well, we got to complement this, right? So this is still sustainable, but it could be better for us. So I think that's what their approach is. So what do you think, dude? This is very interesting. It's a very interesting conversation with Sean Layden. So
Yeah, I mean, he's at a place now that, you know, as a former executive, he can speak from a place like I've done these things, I know how these things work,
right,
compared to like not that like you and I can like we have a right in our perspective as fans and consumers and people like we have a perspective that is definitely valuable, but I think it's really valuable to hear from someone like him
totally,
because it was a very candid conversation to be sure. I mean like when you're I don't he has no reason to like be a blind loyalist to PlayStation. He's gone now. But he's not trying to take shots entirely. He's just like calling out like some very obvious things that you and I have talked about before about just the way the industry works and how some of these entities, specifically Microsoft, Xbox, so they they made some big missteps that you and I have called out on the show before. The
right,
naming convention being a huge issue, you know, there's a lot of issues around that. But then like as you're talking about, like with what's going on with Forza and Forza coming to PlayStation, that's super awesome and cool. Like the whole conversation of like you have exclusivity, you have this ability to say like there's a reason that you need to have our console, and then you kind of take a lot of that away when you start to having these games showing up other places um immediately for the most part. Like there's not there's a huge lack of exclusivity, even or even exclusivity windows are not that long when you really think about it. Forza probably being one of the longest running ones, and then that comes over, and there might be a lot more coming over soon to even, you know, Nintendo. And we've talked about this and some other things to come in the future here. But like he's 100% right. Like you're now because of you doing that, that's not a marketing piece. As an executive, as a former lead, he can say like that's a mishap on a communications as a public your relation that you have with your community. You can't use that as a talking point anymore. Now you're losing a lot of points that help you as a sales side to really pitch your business for the better. This is why, you know, you and I had that rant with you like a bit ago about how like, you know, your man's a casual like if he's on this, because like respectfully like between the naming convention and between the
oh no,
exclusivity, like you're back to those same talking points of like he has this because he wants to play casually with his friends. He doesn't have this because he's actually like a sweat. Like I mean, he's like if he's a real hardcore sweat, he's gonna be looking for games and experiences that are going to take you there to that next level. But if I can buy this on any of the other console, you don't need to be Team Xbox at that point. You're just playing it because you're just
right.
casually having fun with the bros. And so respectfully, that's why I call him a casual. So like in this marketing of saying like you're just the Xbox guy as a casual, that's not a look that as a fan, if you're a fan, you don't want that to be said of you. You don't want to have that perspective, but you're giving that kind of power when you're selling that way. And then when you're doing these naming conventions too, it kind of comes back to that kind of point too, because it's like, you know, some people they're just picking up whatever is new, but it's hard for them to keep up, and so they're, you know, you're buying an S when you really should buy an X, and just because it's cheaper and you don't really know the difference, and then you know you know someone's telling, you know, Aunt Betty that, you know, they want a new Xbox. She says I got you the Xbox, you know, X, and it's like no, you got me the One X, and that wasn't the same as the Series X, and it's a hot mess. You know, I think the last time they had a really cool
Yeah,
name was the 360. 360 was a cool way to spin it out like in that way, but since then they've kind of dropped the ball in
no
naming.
pun
But that's a
intended.
huge marketing point. No point.
No
Yeah,
pun
yeah,
intended on 360. You
yeah,
spinning it
seriously.
out. Yeah, yeah.
Well, but yeah, man.
I'm wondering what the next console is gonna be like named. Like, is this just gonna be called Xbox? Like, and they're
I
just
could see it
gonna
literally be calling Xbox digital. I could literally see it being all digital and literally just calling Xbox digital or something silly like that.
I don't know when they what's the naming convention that they're using for the Well, man, and it's crazy because it's like it's all Microsoft that has the same problem.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like we have Surfaces at work, like Microsoft Surface, devices.
You work with them a lot.
I don't know. Do you have a Surface Pro or a Surface Book or a Surface laptop? Is it a Surface Laptop 4? Is it a Surface Pro 5? Or, is it a Surface Book 3? I don't know. And then their serial numbers are terrible. And it's like, oh man, it's like this guys, dude. Um, so it's really tough. It's like, and it gets to the point where, like, right, and you know, you work with high level people, right? And it's unfortunate. It's like, hey, my computer's not turning on, and you know that they have a Surface, but you can't remember if they have a Surface Book or a Surface laptop, and they both have different like forced shutdown button combinations. And look, like, Microsoft, come on, guys. It's like, I'm trying to be helpful here. You're making it hard.
I wish this is why I wish they would go like, and they can do this from both like their laptop service and even with Xbox, like go the route that Apple has gone and just
Yeah.
like start fresh with a name thing, whatever I can call Xbox Digital, call whatever, and then
Right.
like every like couple of years do a refresh of it. So it's like this is like the Xbox Digital 2024 2025 edition,
Right.
and then like 5 years go by and this is the Xbox Digital 2030 edition.
Yep.
And it's
The
like
only
like,
number
you
that they
kinda
have
know.
is the iPhone. That's the only numbered product they have. Everything
Yes,
else,
it's only numbered.
yeah, everything else,
Every,
they did away with the numbers from the iPad after the
yep,
3, right? And
yep,
then is the this is the iPad 2016, this is the iPad
yep.
2019, right? And
Just
that's this
refresh
is the
them.
iPad Pro, uh, yeah, the year, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah, they should do that. They should do, like,
yep.
I don't know what the plan is, right? If they want to do, like, if they're planning on doing a digital version and this version, I don't know, right? Like, rumor is that Microsoft already phased out discs on, like, South America and some other regions, so they could very well just go full digital next
Yeah,
for the next round.
I
Um,
I, I think so.
like their space at Target, like they only have like a couple of games. They don't have like much now. They have
Yeah,
controllers, right? They have accessories,
yeah,
and they have the
same.
consoles,
My Target's the same
but
thing.
they
There's
only
not
have like
much.
just a couple of
Yeah,
games, and it's the same as Best Buy and whatnot. So,
yeah.
like their physical, like, um I guess options have been really cut back, and it seems
Which
like
is
it's part
fine.
of the plan, right? It seems like it's
Yeah,
part of the plan.
fine.
So, you know, just I think that they're just gonna come out with something and just call it Xbox, and just that's it. That's what it is. And then this is the Xbox that comes out in, yeah, I don't know if it comes out, say, for example, what's my prediction next year for the Xbox, right?
Yeah, you said next year. Yeah,
2026. And this is the Xbox. You know, this is our Xbox model for 2030. After that, right?
that's what I'm saying.
And that's
Exactly
it.
what you're saying. Is
Yeah,
literally what yeah.
yeah,
Just refresh them.
and that's it. And just keep the name. At this point, that's what they should do, right?
Yep.
And because they're not in the zeitgeist anymore, as as PlayStation or the Switch. So just stick with the name. Keep the name. Just keep it simple. Don't go too crazy. The series thing is awful. That name is terrible. So they should just do Xbox for the next round and just keep it like that. So, yeah, I doubt Xbox is coming with a disc for next round, man. I think they're going to embrace it. They're gonna be the ones that are bold enough to do it. I don't think Nintendo's not gonna do it because they own the factory for their game cards, so they're not gonna shut it down. And PlayStation is still, um, it's still, they still sell a lot of discs. It's come down a lot, but I still buy a lot of discs, and I'll buy something digital if I see a good sale in the store. Right, it's a good sale in the store. It's convenient. I'll get it digital. That's fine, right? If I have the option of buying, if it's something that I want to get like brand new, like day one, You know, it's I know it's better to get it digital because I can get it like that midnight, but um, I just usually just get the disc. So yeah, things are changing, man. It's interesting. I'm excited. I'm excited for what the Switch is going to show in April. There's rumors that PlayStation may do something next week. I don't know, like a direct, so or state of play. So we'll see. Yeah, things are moving. Things are happening. So
For sure, it's exciting. We'll see. We'll
yeah,
see.
we shall see, sir. So we got for today.
Absolutely.
Where can people find us?
Thank you all for sticking with us. We want to encourage you to stay subscribed to No Load Time on podcast platforms of your choice. You can find us, subscribe to us. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon Music. Find us, subscribe to us, drop reviews on those platforms. That really helps us out. If you're watching on video, make sure you subscribe to No Load Time on the YouTube channel, No Load Time on YouTube. Like the videos, drop a comment. Of course, again, be subscribed to the channel. These are things you always hear the YouTubers say, but it's little actions you can take to help to support our show. We really appreciate it. Additionally, follow us on social media. If you're watching the video version, you'll see all the handles down below. You can also support the show financially if you'd like. You can be a Patreon producer. You go to patreon.com/no load time. That's patreon.com/no load time. As little as $1 a month, you can help support our show. That money goes directly into the work that we do here. So we'd really appreciate it. Last but not least, if you have a question, comment, or feedback, or if you want to send us to the Icon event, you can send us an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. We look forward to being with you all next week for another great episode. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.